What does eating with Romeo's, sending a gift, and the Buccaneers losing all have to do with each other? Find out today on EDAB.
That was a slate. Did we decide who was hosting?
We did not. So if you guys know this or not, one of us kind of takes the hosting role each episode, and this one does not have a host.
Yes.
We're going to let you be the host.
Which means I'm hosting. That's because that tends to be how it goes when I host.
A lot of times,
it just
hey, I love this like transparency. Yeah. Right behind the scenes, a lot of times Ken and I might talk about what the episode is going to be about.
Right when I walk away.
Most times, Logan's not even in the room. So when the episode gets started, Ken and I know the direction it's going. Logan usually doesn't. And
yet somehow I find gold in every episode.
Yes, he does.
That's right.
To bring to you in the form of a clip.
That's right, because I want to encourage you with that. You do a great job, regardless of what's happening. You're able to find gold. You're able to find life examples, real world things. So I encourage you. Good job on doing that.
That means a lot to me.
What?
I'm just digging for gold.
For those of you watching,
so I was doing this. It was fake theater trick. It wasn't in my nose.
This podcast is actually audio, which a lot of you guys are listening to, but it's also on YouTube as a video. So if that's your style of
Spotify
consuming content, and Spotify as well. And my best friend growing up, Dave Murgatroyd, he is one of the big guys up at Spotify. Hey, Dave. How are you doing? He was best man at my wedding.
Murgatroyd.
Dude, right? He has the best last name
Murgatroyd
ever.
is a great last name. And
that could be a villain.
I've shared the story of him before when we met each other and I rode the bike around and tried to lose him.
Yeah.
That's that same guy, Dave Murgatroyd. So he's probably listening to this now from his Spotify headquarters, whatever, watching and listening and doing all that. So, hey, Dave.
Hey, can we go back to when you were
not telling you what we're talking about?
When you were encouraging me with words of affirmation.
You want to be encouraged right now. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that felt really good.
Well, there was a phrase that we were chatting about, and I do think you were in the middle of that joining us this time around. But last episode, we were able to look at things that made us happy or brought us joy. And as we were just sharing personal stories, we kind of flushed out the fact that we can all find joy and happiness in things that are happening all around us, real world examples. And then we even transferred it over to being thankful for those things. So as you were talking about that, we were all chatting and I guess kind of encouraging each other. Both of you guys are always encouraging when you say things. I don't need words of encouragement at all, but like it does always feel good to somebody who's encouraged. What? Why are you laughing?
I don't need words of encouragement. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, so how are you encouraged? I'm very. So there's
I flew off your flow.
No. I'm just saying there's real world ways that each of us feel encouraged, and it feels good to be encouraged. But my wife does a great job of encouraging me. I don't need that, but of course it feels good when it is. I feel encouraged when I guess somebody else, it could be my kids or something, they make note of something that they saw, heard, listened to that I had a part of doing with. So it might be a YouTube video that we made up on Westridge Kids that God allowed us to do. It might even be the fact that my son was walking Captain Pickles the other night.
Which is your dog, for those who are new to the podcast.
Right. He was walking Captain Pickles, and he texted me and said, man, great podcast episode. I just listened to it while I was walking around. And I was like, he didn't have to say, I love this and I love just the fact that I know that he listened to it.
Yeah.
That was encouraging. Awesome. And that was something that, I don't know, when somebody runs, I'm sure you guys get this, they run into you at church or message you or something about the pod. They don't have to say, your podcast is the best thing I've ever listened to. But when you hear that they took something away that they can apply to their life, that encourages me, to be honest. They don't have to say, you did a great job doing this. Just the fact that they were in the environment that my creativity had something to God blessed through.
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
I'll pile on to that. I actually get encouraged by the fact that people have both insinuated and outright said, you guys don't really have a very professional look to you. I'm like, good. That's actually encouraging because they're like, I feel like I'm right there with you. I feel like you guys are just talking. which we really
That's
are.
what we were going for. That was what we were going for.
And we want to move it towards a direction. But I'm with you on that people don't have to go into great detail, but when they just recognize,
sure.
Hey, I listen in, and I got to tell you, the end of the year, I was a little discouraged about several different parts of life and the podcast, and within a couple, I mean, literally 48 hours, I had probably 5 different people going, "Oh man, this week's episode was so good." And I literally thought, what did we do this week on the episode?
Right? Yeah. What was it about?
But I was playing pickleball with a buddy of mine who's just picked up the game. He goes, "Man, I listen to that every week. I look forward to Mondays." And I'm like, wow, just that simple. Now, those are words of affirmation and encouragement.
Sure.
But what are some other ways that you are encouraged? And I shared with you guys off camera that, man, I'm a physical touch guy. When my wife just comes and does that to me, when my wife does it to me, it's very encouraging.
Please don't do anything
when,
else.
When you put your hand on my shoulder and rub it, I think, okay, yeah, he's a
Gross.
friend. Okay.
Okay, he's a what?
He's okay. He's a friend.
Okay, friend. Friends are okay.
Total strangers, that would be weird.
Awkward.
But no, I love that. We talked about that. Yeah. I never did this with a total stranger, but the people were just like free hugs, and they would just give random strangers hugs. Now I will have, and I love, this is an encouragement because I'm encouraging them. If I've spoken and it hits an emotion with somebody, I don't even need to know what it is. And I'll have people come up and just, they don't even know how to articulate. They're like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
I love hugs.
And I'm telling you, I struggle with that too, because there's that like pride piece, or that like, I just delivered this message, and then people are coming up to talk to you and be like, how impactful that was.
Right.
So you have to put it through the right filter as well, because you could be like, "Oh, thank you." But if you're like, God was laying that on my heart and I couldn't help but talk about it.
Yeah.
But when they go and they say, "Hey, you said to," somebody just came up this past week and was like, "I've never heard it said that I should rest in the presence of God," right? It was one of the many things I said, but he said that. And it just, you have to kind of retool your brain and be like, okay, God laid that on my heart. And I'm so thankful that I'm going back to the thankful thing, but that encourages you. It encourages you with like, okay, God, when you and I were spending time together, I'm encouraged that wasn't just spending time. Now I was able to use what you blessed me with to go help someone else. That's encouraging. That's biblical encouragement, I guess. Like almost like when you can't wait to go spend time with Jesus again. You're like, that encouraged me. I can't wait to go to my secret place and just, there's a book that came out years ago, Secrets of the Secret Place. And it's like, just spend time with God. And the more time you spend with him, the more just relationship you grow. And that's encouraging. That's thankful. That's real world stuff. Spending time with Jesus can encourage you. But when people that you know or don't know, pop in and say that, it's great.
Put those both together. I got a good friend out in Indiana. Pastors a real fast growing church and all, but I met him completely away from his church. I've not been involved. I've since filled in and stuff, but we've just developed this friendship to where if he's near where I am or I'm where, we just get lunch and catch up.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest encouragements, I got a package one day. Now we get packages all the time, but it says Heather Kington on it. This one had my name on it. And I'm like, what? I didn't order anything. And my buddy, who I have not seen in months, we had talked about your word for the year. This is a couple of years ago. And I told him mine was in. And God's showing me a lot of things about being in his presence, like you were talking about, and being in whatever situation, wherever I am. And he's like, "Oh man, I like that word." Months later, I get a package. It's these 2 really cool decorative letters, IN. And he just wrote a note. "Hey, I saw these at a store and I thought of your word and I thought of you and I thought he needs those." And he bought those 2 letters and mailed them to me. Massively encouraging that not only did he think about me, he did something about it. And now I have a representative of something I shared with him. It was just a huge encouragement. Little 2 letters.
And doesn't it sort of make you now, that encouraged you, kind of makes you want to go encourage somebody else, living off the overflow. Like somebody just poured into me. And now what's pouring out is I want to go encourage somebody else.
Because now if I think of somebody or something reminds me of somebody, I'm like, I want to do that.
Do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I bought this. I'm going to package it and send it to you. Just go, I was thinking about you, man. And this just made me think of you. I hope you're doing good. What does that take? It takes a little bit of effort, but man, I know how much it encouraged me.
That episode months ago when we talked about the texting encouragement or whatever it is like that.
Yeah.
Like literally that encourages me when somebody messages something or says something that they heard.
Yep.
And so it's like, go do that to somebody else. So I'm interested with you guys since we don't have a host and we're just kind of winging it right now, everybody. What encourages you guys that might not be a typical encouragement? So we've talked about a gift that came in the mail. We have talked about words of encouragement that can come from a text or personal. Any other encouragement out there?
We talked about physical touch.
Physical touch.
A hug or something.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I love that you brought that up because there is, when we go to physical touch as husbands, of course, everybody's brain goes, we know where that's going towards. And it's like, no, just the fact of holding your wife's hand or
I love holding my wife's
sitting
hand.
there just with your arm around that. Like that is, I'll be honest, encouragement. We're sitting there worshiping together at a church service or a night of prayer. And here we are worshiping and like my wife puts her arm then kind of around me for a second. And I'm like, wow, that's like, I'm now with the person I love and I'm worshiping
at the same
creator
time
that I love. That's two beautiful things that encourages. And then you continue to worship even more. So what are some out of the norm ways of encouragement maybe you guys have received or can give?
That is a fascinating question. I think what's jumping out to me is it's not even necessarily like I need a compliment or a hug or a gift, but just knowing someone is or was thinking of me. And they just share that. Like, this reminded me of you. Like, I have nothing to say other than this reminded me of you.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's something out there that reminded that person of me and it was positive.
Sure.
That's awesome. You know, even if it's like, wow, saw that the Buccaneers kept their head coach. No, you're bummed about that, which is true. I'm very bummed about that.
They know you love the Buccaneers. They know you love them.
They know I love the Buccaneers. They know I can't stand our head coach. And they thought of me when they didn't fire him. And I feel very loved and encouraged.
That's cool.
That they just thought of me and said, hey, thinking of you with this crappy news. Isn't that great? Yes, it is.
That is cool.
That's a challenge to me because every time I see the Bucs on TV, I'm like, I wonder where Logan is. I wonder what he's doing. I need to just text and go, dude, where are you? Because the Bucs are on and are you watching it?
And didn't the Bucs lose?
They lost.
They lost. The Falcons.
The Buccaneers won their last game.
Yes.
And if the Falcons won their last game, the Falcons wouldn't get in the playoffs, but they would knock the Buccaneers out of the playoffs
which
and
is
put in the team that the Buccaneers beat.
Which is exactly
what happened.
Yeah. That's funny you said that, though. I should have messaged you at that time. I'm pretty sure my son messaged you because he's a big football guy. Yeah. But that when you think about that person, it is a reminder to somehow reach out to them, or at least when you see them next time, tell them I was thinking about you during the game 5 nights ago or whatever.
Well, and another way of encouragement that I experienced over the holidays, my kids know that I don't really want a lot. I don't need a lot. So I'm a big and experienced guy. And my oldest son, when they were younger, we just went to games, Braves games, football games. We just went to games. Because I never really did that with my dad. And the couple times I did stuck out in my mind. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. Well, for Christmas, my college, Georgia Southern, was in the Birmingham Bowl. And he got us tickets to the Birmingham Bowl as the Christmas present. So we went. And I'm just telling you, the time driving to Birmingham, sitting there freezing our butts off, and then driving home was a gift. And I was just so full. And then I mentioned last time coaching with my sons, just time together, not just coaching, but his wife was working. She's a nurse, a shift nurse. So we went out to dinner afterwards. And we're talking about 12, 11-year-old boys playing basketball and how we can help them get better. And then we talk about nothing. And then we talked about the bills and just spending time together talking. And my wife and I have even got to the point where in a car, we don't have to talk the whole time. She can literally be reading her book. I'm listening to a podcast or just listening to sports talk and just being together. It's just I just want to really encourage those who are kind of given to that, to realize you don't have to say a whole lot, just being together.
Yeah.
Who's somebody that just needs your time?
Yeah.
I've got another example, but go ahead.
You don't have to tell your kids every time, here's something you need to take away from this situation.
Yeah.
But just the fact of encouraging them, like, man, God's made you
be there.
Excellent.
I thought of an epic out of the box encouragement.
I've been
very out of the norm.
Let me get ready.
Yes.
Hold on. Okay, I'm ready now.
It's so good. It's so good.
Well, and Ken's still stretching out.
So
don't go yet.
I'm ready to receive.
Okay, now he's ready.
About a month ago, my wife had an opportunity for the first time to share her testimony in front of a group at an event we were at.
Okay.
I'm the public speaker, not Mallory. She's never shared her testimony in like a little small group setting, let alone in front of a room. And she did it. It was amazing. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. And a year ago, she wouldn't have even been able to articulate it to me the way she did, just one-on-one, the way she did in front of that room. And the encouragement that I took from that was, one, just seeing my wife win was great and give God glory through her story was great, but also seeing so clearly Mallory up every morning without fail in the 5 o'clock hour, getting in the word, getting in prayer. I call her the Psalm Queen. She is in the Psalms every single day. She knows the Psalms so well. And just the great counselor that is our God, going to work in Mallory's heart and helping her unpack her life experience with him and just understand so much of what she's been through from childhood to now, and why she is the way she is, and why she sees certain things the way she does, lies that she's believed for much of her life, and just the healing work that God has done in her and through her, through that one-on-one time that they've had for years now, culminate into her being able to share her testimony in such a powerful way. She couldn't even identify emotions a year and a half ago. She just had them so locked up.
Wow.
And where God has brought her, it was so encouraging to just sit back and listen and go, man, when you put in that time every day where it feels, there's days you have your quiet time with the Lord and it's like, well, time to start the day now. I don't know if there's anything for me to take away. Was I all in? Just like sometimes it just feels like, am I making any progress? Sure. And for her to clearly see, and for me to look and see in her life, look at the insane amount of progress you've made. This is so worth it. That's right. Where are you going to be another few years from now? It was just neat. That was encouraging. Yeah. Seeing my wife grow, seeing my kids grow, seeing growth in others is a unique, encouraging piece.
That is epic. That just made me think of a couple weeks ago. God just brought these different guys. So I've done a couple funerals, and these guys are now widowers. And I've met with them, I go every month and a half. And I realized, God, we haven't been together in about a month and a half, holidays or whatever. So I text one of them. I said, hey, Lou, you got time for breakfast? Well, they always do. He goes, oh, I'd love to. And then God just brought to my mind, hey, there's another guy, Barry, he's a widow.
Yeah.
Maybe invite him. So I said, Lou, can I invite him? He goes, oh, yeah. So I invited him. And I thought, well, there's John. And John's a widow. I said, hey, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to have, I know you don't know each other, but I'd like to get you together. And what I learned a couple of years before that was this older group, and it was a bunch of senior adults. These guys saw each other, and they started meeting for breakfast because they saw each other at the restaurant. Like, I see you here all the time. So they started eating together. They call themselves the Romeos, retired old men eating out. And I thought, these guys, they're Romeos. We need to do this. So I called them, and I didn't have I want to encourage these guys in mind. I said, hey, I know you guys individually, and two of them actually had crossed paths. I said, I just wanted to get together with you guys because I love getting together with you individually. I thought you might like getting together together. Ooh. And after 2-hour breakfast, they're like, we need to do this again. We need to do this more often.
That's cool.
And I just saw, and that was God prompting my heart of going, these guys, why don't you just get them together? And I didn't realize what an encouragement would be. Yeah. But when you get others focused, what's an encouragement to them? And how, I love that others part. That's kind of my pull
together
this week.
Can be a huge encouragement. Yeah. Like I remember years ago when Jagger had seizures when he was just a baby, and we had somebody come up to us and talk to us about what they went through in that situation. And of course, at the time, we're like, God, why are you allowing us to go through this? What are we learning? Please protect him. Please heal him. And then years later, God allowed him to be healed of those, and we were beyond, and we had moved on. And then we met somebody who had a kid they were dropping off at church who had gone through the seizure process. And we were able to talk to that parent about knowing what you've gone through. Well, that brought comfort and that brought encouragement to them, just knowing that somebody else had gone through what they've gone through. And so maybe looking for people that have been through the things we're about to go through, that could bring encouragement, or looking for people that we've gone through what they're now going through. That can be an encouragement to them to show, how did God bring us out of the other side? And sometimes that's just listening. Somebody heard. My wife is really good at hearing of a need that's out there, and it might be she puts these amazing gift boxes together for our kids, and it might be some of their favorite things that go along with a theme that's happening, and then literally old school mails it to them, right? Goes to the post office and they get it in college. But she also listens throughout the year, and so when somebody's birthday, she's a great gift giver. So when somebody's birthday or something, but it means that she was listening at some point in some month, and then wrote it down, and then later she got them something of what listening. Good. So anyway, those are two kind of worlds for us colliding there, to where how can just giving a gift show encouragement? Well, you listened at some point and you thought of something they would need, or you've gone through something in your life that was difficult for you or good for you. Now you can go encourage somebody else who's going through that exact same thing. So we love to be encouraged, and we we can encourage others. So, all right. So our takeaway today with the encouragement world, I'm not hosting. I'm just asking.
I think you are.
I am not. Yeah. I am not the host here. I'm just curious, as a man sitting in a chair
with a microphone, leading a conversation during a podcast.
You've asked all the questions.
I'm just curious. What are you guys taking away from this encouraging episode that I've heard today?
I'm reminded of, you've probably seen it in a Chick-fil-A restaurant, but it's one of the famous Truett Cathy quotes, and it's, who needs encouragement? Anyone who has breath in their lungs.
That's great.
Oh, wow. I've not seen that.
I haven't either.
Next time you go to Chick-fil-A, look for it. It's probably hanging somewhere in there. My pleasure. Yeah.
That's all. Okay.
But, and it's true. Everyone needs encouragement. And it reminds me of last week's episode. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone needs encouragement.
That's right.
One of our pastors at our church says every soul is in distress in some way.
That's true.
And no matter what facade they might put up, everyone needs encouragement. Everyone's going through something, and for us to just stop and think of a way to love that other person well through word, through gift, through just seeing growth in them, whatever it is, you can help bring that piece of encouragement that they need. So that's my long takeaway.
Long takeaway for a t-shirt. How about you, Ken?
Mine is probably twofold. One, to try each of these at least once a month. Spend time with somebody. Give a gift when I think about them. Just be willing to give a hug, and or what was the other one? Just verbally encourage somebody. But I think the other one, my newest one, and what I took away from this is be aware of looking for, and it kind of ties with last week, of just being interrupted for something new. What's a new way to encourage? Sure. And getting those three widowers, I guess they're called, was a new way of going, I never really thought of that. Just getting together with other people that are struggling with something the same that I'm not struggling with, but I had the means to put them together.
Yeah.
that was encouraging, a huge encouragement. I'm like, oh, I want to do something like that more.
I love that.
So looking for new ways to encourage.
I think my takeaway is going to be that even if someone is not encouraging me at the time, that's no excuse for me not to encourage somebody else. Just let God worry about everything else in the middle. All we need is his love anyway. But today, when we stop this episode and when we leave the studio and when I'm driving back to work or at home or meeting a stranger at a store, like how can I be encouraging in the most simple way or the biggest, most complicated way? Those are all around us. We just have to notice them. So that was good. That was fun, guys. That was good. It was neat.
Good job not hosting.
Thank you. It was
do you
a
want to
pleasure
do our
not
little
to
closing
host.
thing too? You want to lead us through that?
I'll do that, but I'm not hosting it.
Yeah.
I'm just. How about this?
I think
I'll just lead us on our outro phrase.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you want? Is that what you're going to say, or no? Do you want me
I was
to?
just say let Logan try it. That way he at least has to do it.
I didn't think about that. Logan has to say the phrase that he forgets to say every time. So as a non-host, I'm going to encourage you with. Why don't you,
as a former host, I
don't
think you should
give
try
us
it.
the outro phrase.
How would you set that up?
to say at the same time?
I always butcher it.
Yeah.
We're not.
But we encourage you. Try it.
We're not promised tomorrow, but we have today, which means that. Today is a bonus. That's how I want to say
every
it.
day's a
But it's
bonus.
every
Logan,
day's a bonus.
Hey, we'll see you guys next time. Logan, you've got to get this right. You're gonna
Every day's a blessing.